Imprisoned, Betrayed, and Alone. The Unbreakable Faith of Adoniram and Anna Judson. It's around the 1820s. Adoniram Judson, a young, ambitious American missionary, set sail with his family to a land where only few Westerners had traveled, and even fewer dared to stay. It was the Buddhist nation of Burma, a beautiful Asian country just east of India. Judson had this fiery determination to bring the Bible to the people who had never heard of it before. He learned the Burmese language, a challenge that felt like learning to swim in a storm. But then, he soon started translating the New Testament. And his beloved wife Anne stood by him, supporting him every step of the way. The locals were far from welcoming a foreigner in their land, especially when they were coming with a new faith, and the government was suspicious. But still Judson and his wife continued their mission work of translating the New Testament in local language. But then came the real test. The war broke out between Britain and Burma in 1824. Even though Judsons were American nationals, the Burmese authorities didn't care. They suspected all foreigners of being spies. One summer morning, soldiers burst into Judson's home, burnt all his work into ashes, and arrested him and put a cloth on his head and covered him and dragged him away in chains. His wife, Anne, watched helplessly as her face turned pale with terror as they led Adoniram to the infamous Ava prison. Since the Burmese authorities thought he was a British spy, there was no trial for Judson, just a sentence: indefinite imprisonment in the worst possible conditions. Ava prison was a notorious place, a small and filthy jail with no bed. Rats scurried across the floor, disease hung in the air like a fog, and prisoners would lie on a bamboo mat in a dark, suffocating prison cell. In prison, days blurred into nights. He had chains biting into his ankles. Every step felt like fire. And still, he prayed. Months turned into over a year. But tragedy did not stop at prison walls. Outside those prison walls, Anne was fighting her own battle. She walked miles in the scorching sun to plead with government officials, bribe guards, and bring scraps of food to keep her husband alive. She even had to carry their newborn baby Maria in her arms because there was nowhere else to go. Fighting her battle all alone outside the prison walls, Anne soon fell ill, and she grew weaker by the day. One afternoon, as Judson lay chained in the darkness, a guard whispered the news. Anne was dead. Judson grew desperate. Young Maria was alone. And a few days later, she did not make it as well. And Judson was heartbroken. A man who had sacrificed everything for his mission, now alone, shackled. When the war ended, the Burmese finally released him. He was just a shadow of the man who had arrived to this land. But he did not run back home. He picked up his work, and he started translating the entire Bible into Burmese again. Further, he trained local pastors, built churches, and watched the seeds that his family planted with their blood begin to bloom.
Imagine the passion Judson had for Burma and what it did for the growth of Christianity in the country. Even decades after he died, thousands of Burmese Christians are reading the Bible he translated, all because one man sacrificed everything he had and refused to quit. If you liked this video, consider subscribing and sharing with your family and friends. Thank you for watching, and stay blessed.